Recovery Rockstars Uncut.
Welcome to Recovery Rockstars Uncut. I am your host, Kevin Z, and this is episode number 20. On this episode, I interview Recovery Rockstar Jessica Jabot. She takes us through her whole journey from growing up in Vancouver to moving to LA, where she became a celebrity stylist, and then she became a DJ, dropping some dope beats, some house music. Now she's back in Vancouver, and props to her because she really found her passion. She started a blog called A Sober Girl's Guide. She has a kick-ass podcast, and I'm pretty proud to say that I was a guest of it. And you can find her all over social media at A Sober Girl's Guide. I know you guys are going to love this show. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you subscribe to the podcast, if you shared the podcast, if you would rate the podcast, if you would give me some feedback, because I am doing this for you guys. I want to highlight all your recovery rock stars, share your story, unite the recovery community, and spread the message of hope and inspire others. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Welcome to Recovery Rockstars Uncut, uniting the recovery community with raw and real stories. Your host, Kevin Z, puts the light on people and brands that are rocking the recovery lifestyle. So you want to be a rock superstar? RecoveryRockstars.com. Now, here's Kevin.
First of all, so stoked to have you on the show. And I just want to let our listeners know the first question she asked just now off the record was, am I allowed to cuss? So you know this is going to be a good interview. Just what's up?
Hell yes. Oh my God. Kevin, thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
No, so it was, about 2 weeks ago, I was on your podcast, and I have to tell you that I had an absolute blast. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for being on it. Actually, my grandma just told me yesterday that she really liked your episode, and she thinks that we have a really good repertoire between us. What? She's like, oh, you guys were so interesting to listen to. It wasn't like an interview. It was like a talk show. I'm like, oh.
You know what? We're starting a talk show. Just all listeners, you hear her first. Yeah. Grandma, what's Grandma's name? I got to give her a quick shout out.
Carol, we call her Kitty, though.
Kitty, first of all, thank you for listening. It means the world to me, and we're going to send her this podcast. And Kitty, I'm going to give you my number. Just, any feedback that you have, you let me know.
Yes, I mean, she is the ultimate listener because she will give you the best feedback. It's awesome.
I love that. And she's probably open and honest and very direct, I hope, right?
Well, hell yeah. She has nothing to lose.
She'd be like, dude, your fucking podcast sucked. I'm sorry. You're done.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, I want to get into this because, like I just mentioned, this is all about you. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to listen to any of our podcasts. The goal is to provide as much value, share your story, and some words of wisdom that we're going to leave our listeners with. Let's start with this question. How long have you been sober now? So,
I actually just learned this terminology or term the other day. So I have been sober a year and a half, straight sober. So that's consecutive days, a year and a half sober. But someone else told me about compound sobriety.
Tell me about it.
So I mean, what I got from it was your attempts and how, most people trying to get sober go a month or 2 months and then, they're back on the wagon. My compound sobriety, I've been trying to get sober for 10 years, but then successfully have had a year and a half straight, dry, no zigs or zags here or there.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on the year and a half. That's quite an accomplishment, and that's awesome. That's funny that you said this because I was actually looking at your Instagram story, and a lot of people were answering your questions, and you said, it took you 10 years.
Yeah.
Take us through why it took you 10 years. Actually, I want to go a little bit further back. How old were you when you first started drinking?
Oh, God. My first beer, I remember me and my girlfriends from school we literally stole a beer for 4 girls, and we went to the park. We stole it out of my mom's fridge, and we chugged 1 beer between 4 girls, and I think we were maybe 13 or 14.
Okay.
So, and then my drinking career was really awesome and really off to a great start. I was the girl at all the parties with all the older boys who would be passed out on the lawn, and the sprinklers would come on the next day.
Mm,
Yeah, super cute.
super cute. And
Yeah.
is this before the days of social media?
Yes, thank God.
Absolutely,
Thank
thank God.
the Lord Jesus. Yeah, that could have been bad.
So you're the party girl, you're passing out on the lawn and the sprinklers. When was it that you said, "Oh shit, I might have a problem"?
Oh, I always knew that I had a problem. I knew even it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. Because being back at home, all these kind of memories and just weird your mind just goes weird places if you get triggered by something like like a bush that you used to walk by every day to school.
Hmm.
So I was thinking about my grad, and I just remember everyone getting like all their alcohol together and getting like what they're gonna drink after our dinner and dance, and everyone's like, what are you drinking, what are you drinking? And I'm literally like, oh my God, this is so stressful. Like, I don't want to have to like plan my night around drinking, which I mean, obviously, the years to come became my focus, which is very ironic. But even at that like young age, like 17, 18, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I don't want to have to plan to get wasted. Like, what? Oh, basically, I'm planning what I'm going to throw up. You know?
You know, it's funny
Because
it's funny that you said that around your graduation because I remember mine,
yeah,
and I remember after graduating, they did that. I don't know, it was like kind of a sleepover at the high school afterwards, and they had like a bunch of games and vendors set up, and it was supposed to be
yeah.
really fun. But there was like a 3 hour gap between that where one of the guys had a party, however, he couldn't get alcohol, and I remember just everybody going, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" It's like the most
Oh,
important night of our lives, or one of them, the most memorable lives looking back. But nobody was taking advantage of it because they were so worried about consuming alcohol before
yeah.
the actual event, the all-nighter. It is pretty sad when you have to plan your evening around alcohol or day or
To,
morning or whatever the case it may be, right?
yeah, to get wasted. Like, literally, I'm like, okay, like, I know I'm not going to drink anything hard because it burns when I throw that up. I want something mildly enjoyable, like sweet. Like, what? What? What is this way of thinking? So I ended up going with like these blue coolers,
That
basically.
does not sound good. Blue
No,
coolers.
no, they were like it was disgusting. It's basically like corn syrup and like alcohol. Oh, it was just yeah, it was just so gross.
So where was this?
It's
Where
almost-
was this in Vancouver or was this in LA? Because I know you've lived in both.
Yeah, no, this was in Vancouver. So I grew up in Vancouver, and then when I was 22, moved to LA by myself.
And now is LA, was that when you started using cocaine?
Yeah. So
So
it's kind of funny. When I lived in Vancouver, like all my past relationships, everyone has been an addict. And actually, my last relationship before I moved to LA, how I met her family was through an intervention. So everyone that I've ever been with has been an addict, gone to rehab. It was the same shit. Drugs, it was cocaine and drinking.
hmm,
Yeah. But I didn't have a problem because,
everybody else did, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So what brought you to LA?
I wanted to get out of Vancouver. I was, I, I say, I said that I was going to like do hair and, have this fabulous life, but in reality, I was kind of escaping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. So
Yeah.
you get out to LA, you have dreams of being a stylist. I know that you've been a DJ as well. Take us through
Yeah.
how that process looked like. I mean, did you just kind of fall into the wrong hands and just surround yourself with people who are living that lifestyle of drinking and partying, and I'm sure it was pretty exciting coming from Vancouver to LA. There's a million things to do in LA, and it's kind of a very hip scene and happening scene there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, technically, I think I fell into all the right hands. I was doing all the right things. I mean, I literally moved to LA from Vancouver. I remember my mom drove me across the border. I took a flight out of Bellingham because you can't book a one-way ticket from Canada to the States. So I literally hopped the border with one suitcase, one little duffel bag, and a laptop. Wow. I didn't even have a cell phone. I had a little room to rent that a friend of a friend of a friend suggested that where I stay.
And you came alone, by the way? Sorry to interrupt. Yep. Okay.
All alone. Just me.
So you were in a little room with a friend of a friend of a friend.
Yep. And I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything lined up. Just went with it. Just went for it.
Wow.
And I ended up getting a job at one of the biggest hair salons in Beverly Hills. It's called Joan, and it's right in the smack dab of the Golden Triangle of Beverly Hills. So I worked there. I mean, I was working on like celebrities' hair, like Vanessa Hudgens from like High School Musical,
yeah, big fan.
Daniel Jones, like huge celebrities. Like I was like in it. I was in it to win it.
You were young. You had the world in front of you. Life was great. You're in Beverly Hills. You're working with celebrities. You're the shit.
Yeah, living the dream, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like going out every night to like every hot spot, like the Standard, Chateau Marmont, like just doing the damn thing. And because like we didn't have like a lot of money, we would pre-drink or we would buy those, those little like mini bar bottles.
Yep.
Alcohol. We would just get those and like throw them in our purse and then just like sip them in the washroom. So
didn't the guys buy you drinks? I mean, right? In LA?
Yeah, I mean, but like I didn't care who was getting the drinks. I'm just like, I just need something. I just want it like now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to even have a conversation with anyone to get my alcohol. Like I want to be, I want to be in control all the time.
Yeah.
So I provide my own party.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're doing this, you're going out every night.
Oh, yeah.
So, it sounds so fun in theory, but how, because you're saying, you knew you had a problem right away. You've been trying to get sober for 10 years. How long had you been going out up in LA every single night before you said, okay, this is the start. This is the first day of my 10 years of trying to get sober?
I didn't really, I knew obviously there was a problem, but I always blamed it on something else. Like it was to do with the circumstance or because I broke up with this person or, because I'm not like, I don't know. I always had an excuse. I always had an excuse of why, oh, maybe I went a little too hard this night because I had my period. Like,
yeah.
Just like ridiculous excuses when it's like, no, like you don't know when to stop. So I kind of went to LA, to AA meetings, because I was lonely too.
Now, did you go to these AA meetings alone, or did you go with any friends?
No, I went alone. And I would never go or admit it to anyone at that time.
So you would wake up and you'd be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go to an AA meeting. And then after the first time you went to the AA meetings, how long were you able to stay sober?
Like maybe max a month.
Max a month? Okay.
Yeah. But I also went to the AA meetings I know this sounds really weird, but like to validate me not fitting in. Like, oh, my life isn't that bad, so I don't need to be here.
Yeah. No, I understand. You're not the first person that said that before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like, thank God that didn't happen to me. That's never, ever going to happen to me. Well, yeah, it does. And like, shit got really bad and did a lot of really stupid things and hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. So were you a functioning alcoholic? I mean, you were able to go party during the night and then wake up and, be a stylist during the day. Did you have to call in sick a lot? And what was your relationship? It's kind of a long-winded question, but what was your relationship with your parents? Did they have any idea what was going on back in Vancouver? Had you reached out to them and let them know that you were struggling?
No, I didn't tell anyone. I was a master manipulator.
Gotcha.
I had an excuse for everything and every action. So, yeah, I was totally functioning, but also I would manipulate when I would just go hard, when I could. And I would schedule my life basically around drinking.
So then you're a stylist. How did you get into DJing? Because obviously being in the nightclub scene, being a DJ, I'm sure you have access to absolutely everything. People want to vibe with you, so to speak, so they're giving you stuff for free. I mean, that's...
Everything was free.
Yeah.
Food, drinks, drugs, anything. Anything you want. Yeah.
So take us through that. What was it like? It's just a normal night being a DJ.
Well, okay, let me talk about how I actually like kind of got into it. So I was doing the hair thing. That was really fun and cool. Met all these really interesting people. And through hair, I actually got like DJ gigs. Because I would say like, oh, I'm just like DJing on the side. And then my DJ gigs began to outweigh my hair gigs. And I much preferred like, basically I was paid to party. So like, what? Getting up at 8:30 in the morning to do someone else's hair and put someone else, like my attention on someone else? Are you kidding me? No, I want all the attention on me. I want, all the drugs, all the alcohol I can get for free. And then I want to go and sleep whenever I can and do it all again.
Yep.
And get paid.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
So then you started doing the DJing.
Yeah.
Things got even crazier. I'm sure. I could see how narcissism could kick in. All of a sudden, you're like in front of, I don't know how big your venues were, hundreds of people, 50 people, thousands of people, whatever the case may be. But I can understand how it's such an incredible rush.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the attention.
Yeah.
And I was a great DJ.
Ooh.
Like till this day, my agent texts me. He's like, just texting the best DJ in the world, just seeing how you're doing. And I'm like, yeah. I was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so good.
Would you ever do it again?
No.
Why not?
I just don't, I want a different kind of attention.
I love it.
I don't feel passionate towards it anymore, and so therefore I feel every time when I was working and performing, I felt like a fake. Yeah, because my heart wasn't into it. I was literally just doing it for money, and so I could, work a little bit and get paid and live my life and do whatever I want. But I just stopped enjoying myself. I don't like the people I was surrounded with. I was very alone. Very alone. And, you're not going to meet anyone with the same interests and values in a place you don't want to be.
Yeah, you had a shift.
Yep.
It's interesting because when I was on your podcast, we were talking about a little bit, anxiety in general, and you said, being a DJ actually was the cause of so much of your anxiety. And after you started eliminating some of the things in your life, especially being a DJ, that anxiety reduced big time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Doing shit you don't want to do does not make you feel good. Therefore, you're going to be anxious every time you go and do stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah. So I want to go back real quick. So you've got your DJing, it's starting to take off. You're in LA, you're partying. Did you have a rock bottom moments where you said, okay, I'm done. I've been trying to get sober. I can't take this anymore. This is it. I really need help.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say rock bottom, because I definitely hit rock bottom and did some pretty shitty things, and I literally kept going. Like, rock bottom has a basement. It's there.
Yeah.
So I think it's all a compound rock bottom, because I wasn't myself. Like, I was a shitty person. So that to me is a rock bottom. Not being yourself and not being happy and not being your true person that's not a life.
Yeah.
That sucks. That really sucks. But physically, what started to happen was I was getting really bad anxiety attacks and I couldn't go to work. So what that meant for me, if I can't go to work, I don't make money, I can't afford my nice apartment in LA, and then slowly things that I like and make me feel good, I couldn't do.
Yep.
So the anxiety, like my anxiety attacks were crazy. I literally had to take a bar of Xanax, and that would just knock me on my ass, and I was debilitated.
For somebody who's never experienced it, but has seen other people go through it, what does an anxiety attack feel like to you?
So for me, an anxiety attack, it felt like my inner body was like trying to crawl out of my own skin. Like my insides were trying to crawl out of my own skin. Like I felt like I would eat a lot. Like every time I had an anxiety attack or felt an anxiety attack coming on, I felt like I needed to eat a lot of carby, starchy things, because my body was just like eating itself alive, it felt.
Interesting.
Like it was my skin was like crawling, and I just could not be with myself.
Yeah. Again, we talked about it on your podcast. I mean, I've had a couple of anxiety attacks, and there's a sense of warmth that just comes over you. And I remember just my heart was beating, and I start sweating, and I feel like I was going to lose all bodily function. It's crippling, and a lot of people don't realize, oh yeah, I had an anxiety attack, but they're real and they happen. And, we need to be more sympathetic to people when they say, oh man, I'm having an anxiety attack. Well, there's people that are dramatic, and I understand that. But there's a lot of people who are really legitimately having an anxiety attack, and people don't understand what that means.
Yeah. I mean, there's also different types too. Like there's physical, which literally can happen out of nowhere. Like one time I was on a run, and my, running and working out for me that's like my best creative times. That's literally when I can just let my mind just go, and it feels so good to just almost kind of turn off, but in a really positive way. So it was very, very scary when literally just out for a run, physically, it was like someone just was sitting on my chest, and I couldn't breathe, and I was just scared, and again, the feeling like I was going to crawl out of my skin. And I, out of nowhere, I was I wasn't, thinking about anything in particular. If anything, I was in my happy place, and it freaking scared the shit out of me.
That's so scary.
Because you don't know where they come from.
Do you still get panic attack or anxiety attacks, panic attacks?
Not as much. Sometimes I get little ones when I wake up in the morning. Which is a great way to start your day. Not at all.
I know. I sense some sarcasm there.
Yeah. But honestly, I can't pinpoint one. I can't even really think of one.
Well, that's good.
I've been I've been on the more depressed side. I think that's just natural because I am dealing with a lot right now and going through a lot and just really, I mean, very emotional.
Hmm.
So I think depression is just kind of a natural part of that. But anxiety, I think I have been pretty good.
Are you
Pretty
are,
okay.
are you taking anything to help with the depression or seeing anybody?
No, I'm not taking anything. I'm seeing a therapist. So that's great. And I know I've done a lot of work on myself, and I know what the actual root and where it's coming from. So I'm not too concerned. In the past, I have taken, I think I was on Prozac, like a very low dose of Prozac. And listen, I don't promote drugs, but if you need to just get something to function in the morning and to get out of bed, I highly, highly suggest just a little something just to give you that kick and help you get out of bed. Because I know depression can be debilitating too.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the story. How did you end up getting sober?
So I think when my cushy little life was being threatened with the anxiety attacks, and I just sat down one day. I literally sat down at my kitchen table, and I did a whole inventory of my life and my circumstances and my habits. And I went through with a fine tooth comb, and I asked myself, what makes me happy? What about my life makes me happy? And I made this list. Food is number one. I love food so much. It's like one of the main things that consumes my mind. It's so funny. But food just makes me feel good. Like I love sharing a meal with people. I love cooking for people. Like food represents more obviously than just the physical. It represents community.
I was just going to say that. There's nothing better than sitting down with family and friends and enjoying a good meal.
Yeah.
It's a time of day that brings everybody together.
Yeah, and everyone can just sit and talk, and the good food is the basis of a conversation, but who knows where it goes from there. It's just kind of like a key to open to a doorway of connection.
So then essentially you wrote down all the things that made you happy and you just focused on all the positive. Every day you woke up kind of taking it one day at a time and focusing on the things that make your life positive and happy.
Exactly. Yeah, so I was
and
coming
meaningful.
from a place of abundance. So I wanted to, I wanted to feel whole. I wanted to feel happy. What makes me feel whole and what really gets me to that place. And as soon as I did that, in the past, when I've tried to quit, I've always thought I was basically coming from a place of lack. So I was like, okay, I cannot drink. I am not supposed to drink. It is forbidden. Or if I stop drinking, I'm not going to have A, B, and C. Or if I stop drinking, I'm not going to be confident enough to go out and meet someone. So how am I going to meet anyone? It was just like a chain effect. But it's not true at all. It was just, it was in my mind, and coming from that place of lack isn't going to motivate you. It's not going to get you to where you want to go. You need to focus on what you want more of in your life.
Love that.
And so when I started doing that and being like, okay, I want to feel like this. I want to feel light. I want to feel bright and happy and excited. I want to have energy. You do not get those things by being an alcoholic and doing cocaine and partying your ass off. Don't. There's come on. You can't wake up after a bender and be like, holy shit, I feel great. I'm so full of energy and I'm happy and I'm light.
Let's go do a 5K.
Yeah. Bullshit.
I'm going to go volunteer today. I feel great.
Yeah.
I really like that because what is it? Is it human nature that we all focus on the things we don't want in life versus the things that we do want in life? And we always attract what we don't want. Yeah.
So much easier to name shit you don't want, even like in a partner. Oh my God, I don't want a cheater. I don't want someone who chews gum. I don't want someone that smokes. Yeah, but what do you want? And when you focus on what you want, you get a way more deeper meaning. You get way more deeper characteristics.
See, I love
You know
that.
what I mean?
That's a big takeaway from today's podcast.
Yeah.
So
If you focus on the positive, you get deeper connection.
that's right. Like this one right here. Woohoo! Tell me, what is life like now that you're free from alcohol and addiction?
I can't even.
You're speechless. You're speechless.
Yeah, I am, because I mean it's so great. It's so different. It is so different, and just changing like literally everything about me and my life and my outlook on life has changed.
Well,
and that's like the best part.
And I love that, and I see your change, and I see your positivity. Let's tell our listeners about A Sober Girl's Guide.
Okay. Yeah, so when I was really serious and, of course, coming from that place of positivity and abundance, I was looking for motivation and inspiration. And there is like you said, there's a lot of negative talk. There's a lot of stuff that like naming what you don't want out there. A lot of people in recovery are living in the past, telling their story and how it used to be. And I don't find that shit motivating at all. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. Everyone has a story. Absolutely. But for someone like me who is, wanting to move forward, I'm a forward thinker. That doesn't help me.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me get forward. So I wanted to see people like, oh, like, holy shit, my life is so awesome. This is what I'm doing. This is my company. This is, like, this is how successful I am now. Like, these are my kids. This is my family. I want to see that. I want to see the possibilities, and I want to see, your growth.
Yeah.
I didn't relate to stories of the past and how bad it was and very serious quotes.
Yeah. We want to focus on the positive, the energy. What is life like? How are you being your best self, personal? Best personal self. Yeah. So you've got the blog, you've got your Instagram page, you've got your podcast now. I know you're looking to do some events. I mean, you're getting shit done right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So I started with the blog, and I didn't think anyone would read it, let alone relate to it, which is really cool. So I just wrote real talk. Like, this is how it is, no fluff, just this is my experience, and this is how I got through it. Yeah. And so, always ending with a positive message. I could maybe be going through some shit, which obviously I've had, but at the end of the day, I explain how I moved through it and practical exercises that people can then do themselves.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then you're also a motivational speaker. You're a coach. Tell us what else you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm totally getting into the coaching right now. I went back to school while I was in LA, and while I was DJing, I went back to school and I completed my life coaching certification. I have a background in psychology and NLP techniques, which are amazing and really get to the root of your problems. And it took me a while to figure out if I wanted to do the coaching route, but I love it.
Nice.
Like that is where I feel my most whole, my most powerful, just I feel so confident and like on fire.
Nice.
When I coach.
That's a comfort zone. That's your passion.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the same with speaking too. Kind of like DJing, I love the attention, right? I loved being the center of attention and people's eyes on me. But now I love it even more because of my message, and I just feel so passionate. Like, this is my passion, and I'm so excited to figure it out.
That is awesome. You know, when it translates through your posts, as odd as that sounds, I mean, you could just see the positivity, the light, the passion behind everything you do, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's the biggest compliment. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So for those who are listening, how can people find you? How can they connect with you?
Okay, so we have the blog, and actually the website is under construction right now, but the blog is still up. So it's a sobergirlsguide.com. And then I have Instagram, which I am very active, and I just love it because Instagram's such an amazing tool, isn't it?
I love it. Absolutely.
It's just instant, and I just love the communication. I'm always there, and I'm always responding to people. It's a great way to communicate. So direct message me if you need me, want to chat, always available. So my Instagram is a sober girls guide. Yeah, at a sober girls guide. And the podcast, which is so much fun.
So much fun.
I never thought. It's just so interesting. I really feel like everything in my life has kind of primed me and prepped me for my path now, because I'm like, how am I gonna do a podcast? Like, how am I gonna edit it and do all this stuff? And then I look through my computer. I'm like, oh my God, I have like, thousands of dollars in software that I used to produce music on.
Oh, that's so awesome. Perfect.
Yeah. So, my little like intro music, like I made that.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And then so my editing software, all there, all done. It's just like these things
they all led you to where you're at right now.
Exactly. It's so cool.
Oh, that is really fantastic. And you guys, I highly recommend whoever's listening, go follow her, connect with her. She's an incredible source of inspiration. She tells it how it is, and she adds a little light to your life, which is much needed these days.
Thank you.
And then just kind of one final question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
What is your biggest piece of advice to somebody listening that might be suffering right now from alcoholism or addiction?
My biggest piece of advice?
Yes.
Is definitely take some action. Get help. If you've tried to get sober before and you can't, chances are you're going to need help, and that's awesome. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm doing this. That is my main goal, is to get you sober and to get you living a happy, full, rich life. Just reach out.
You guys hear it? Just reach out. Ask for help. There are people there that are willing to help. Jessica's there. She's on Instagram. She said it, at a Sober Girls Guide. Connect with her and get the
We
treatment.
don't even have to talk on the phone. You can just message me. You can email me. I get it. I'm here.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
You
so much for
are a rock star, and you know what? Let's keep going. We'll talk to Kitty, and we'll get our show going here shortly. Our talk show.
She's gonna love this. She's like, oh, I just love his voice and the way he talks. And you guys,
oh, love that. Again, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thanks for being in recovery, rock stars. I guess today's episode is done. In all seriousness, though, Kevin appreciates you being part of this community. RecoveryRockstars.com. Want to email us? Kevin@RecoveryRockstars.com. Facebook, Recovery Rockstars. Instagram us @Recovery Rockstars. Kevin's wardrobe brought to you by Kevin. Kevin's transportation brought to you by Kevin. Kevin's cable bill paid by Kevin so he can keep this podcast going. Goodbye.